the love, care, and treatment of a woman was expected from Latino men. It's not appreciated, it's expected. Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Karla Eli Show. I'm your host, Karla Eli, and I'm here to guide you towards wisdom so that you may unlock a life of abundance by mastering the feminine balance. Let's get into today's flow. Before we do so, go ahead and like and subscribe. It really helps me out to know if you're enjoying the show. And if you are, please let me know down in the comments below, what do you like about the show? What am I doing a good job on? And what am I not doing a great job on? Please be kind with your words. I am a gentle soul and I do read through your comments. Without further ado, let's get into it. Guessing by the title, today we're going to talk about something very controversial, but I want it to be a safe space and I want to start having these conversations to get our minds thinking a little bit about this. I made the ultimate sacrifice. I married a vanilla man. And the reason why I did so was because my own culture was too toxic to get married into. And these were the three traits that I saw within my Latino culture that I was like, absolutely not. These systems are not sustainable, and I do not want to repeat the same mistakes as my ancestors did before me. How sad is it that I had to better the lineage by getting married to someone who wasn't within my own culture? And it's not to say that one is better than the other, but can we agree that preserving culture preserves history? Can we agree that preserving culture keeps a family strong? It keeps your identity preserved. I love the Latino community and I love my own culture, but it's unfortunate to say I couldn't marry within it. Trait number one: a lot of the times, my culture does not respect the marriage and the union as a separate family. And a lot of the times, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, and grandfathers get in between the newlywed, causing so many problems. AKA, there's a lack of respect and boundaries within the extended family. I kept seeing this within my own culture, that mothers could not let go of their sons, that mothers kept mothering their kids after 18, that mothers didn't allow their boys to grow up and be men. And this control that a lot of the times these mothers have towards their boys is insane. And let me tell you, I kept seeing it and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not dealing with this. No. I was so traumatized that I chose someone that's family is literally across the country from me. Like literally a couple states down from me. I get along well with my in-laws because they respect. They truly respect my union with my husband. And I know that I wouldn't have gotten that same treatment if I would have married within my own culture. Again, it sucks to generalize. This is just something that I kept seeing. Mothers and fathers getting in between the union. Sometimes it was worse, adding on the grandma and the grandpa, getting in between the union. And because there was this lack of respect from either the groom or the bride side of the family, I knew from the get-go, no, I'm going to struggle with this because I need my privacy. I need to be the queen of my house. There could only be one queen. Instead of fighting and pushing through this and trying to change the culture by sacrificing myself, I said, I'll sacrifice myself in a different way. I do not want to struggle with this. There's already so many issues that are going on within a newlywed couple that apart from dealing with those struggles, you have to deal with the family? Oh, hell no. I don't think so. I don't think so. I was like, I'm not built for that. Absolutely not. Let me know down in the comments if you're Latina like me, or a different culture with the that we have like similarities within our culture, if you've seen this as well. And going on to families, the way that a lot of these Latina moms speak to their children, to their husbands, I was like, no, no. There's so much disrespect. It is insane. It is vulgar. I'm so sorry to say that. We just look vulgar. that we don't have enough self-control. Again, I don't want to generalize. This is just what my own experience and a lot of the experiences around my community, because I do live in San Diego, if you didn't know, so there's a lot of Latinos here. And I was like, I do not want to replicate this. I do not want to replicate this. Fortunately, my mom and my dad weren't like that. They were very different. I guess you could say they were a little bit preppy. In Spanish, we call them fresas, but like they were a little bit more preppy and respectful because they had like their Christian foundations like solid, and they have a lot of American culture instilled in them. Even that sucks. Finding a person that knows how to respect a union or a marriage that is Latino or Latina is extremely hard. Second toxic trait that I saw within my own community: the love, care, and treatment of a woman was expected from Latino men. It's not appreciated, it's expected. It's an expectation for a woman to know how to cook, how to clean, how to do all these things. And it goes unnoticed and unappreciated. And that's something that I was like, absolutely not. No. My man needs to be grateful. He needs to appreciate me. But that ties into machismo. That's what my culture struggles with. And I was like, oh no. Mm-mm. I don't know. Tell me, have you noticed this within our own culture? That a woman is expected to know how to be a host, and how to clean, how to cook, and all those things. It's just an expectation. It's just an unappreciated expectation. I was like, no, I'm not gonna go through that. My man needs to be grateful, and he needs to be surprised that I do this for him. He needs to be thankful that I serve him, and he needs to know that he's getting the best of the best treatment. This is why a lot of Latino men are losing their Latinas, at least here in the States or in first world countries. A lot of Latinos are losing their Latina women, and they're getting married, and they're moving to where they are appreciated for this reason. We are done being unappreciated. I know that I was. My husband was amazed. He was so thankful when I cooked for him, when I served him, when I attended him. I knew that if I married a Latino man, that would have been expected. And I did not want to deal with that either. It's so sad. It's so sad. I made the ultimate sacrifice. It's also on preferences, right? Because something that I keep hearing a lot of women say is, it's just vanilla men are boring. I'm like, no, sis, they're not boring. They're just stable. Think about it. Why are we so inclined to toxic relationships? It's because that's what we saw growing up. I'm not saying that all vanilla couples are like healthy or anything like that. No, but we have a different spice. They call us spicy for a reason. We have a different spice, and with that spice, we can also be extremely toxic, right? That was on point number two. The toxic trait that I saw within my own culture was the expectation that was a bare minimum that a woman could do. And I was not okay with that. I was like, oh no, 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 no. I'm going to be appreciated. I'm going to go where I'm appreciated. And if I'm not appreciated here, then peace. I'm out. I'm out. I do not have to deal with this. Third point: a lot of the Latino men and in my community don't respect the word no. And this is tied into on how they view women, because a lot of the times, due to how our culture is set up, they view women as less than. They view men as superior and women as less than. And this all ties back to how the moms raise their boys. For some reason, in my culture, boys are better than women. That is why moms inclined more with their boys. That's why they're more sensitive with their boys. But that hinders the community, because instead of teaching them how to be men, we are teaching them how to be sassy boys. And then they grow up disrespecting other women and not knowing how to take a no from a woman. I wanted someone who could look at me and look at me as their equal. See, my husband understands that even though we are equal in worth, we are not equal in the duties. But what I'm seeing a lot of the times here in this mixed melting pot in the States is that a lot of Latino men don't know how to distinguish the two. Of course, I don't mean to generalize, but this is what I saw. And a lot of women can agree with me on this. It's awful. The special treatment that these boys are receiving from their mothers, and they're creating this level of disrespect for the other woman. And again, I said, no, I don't want to deal with that. So I had to marry outside of my culture, and a culture that was more open, more flexible, more understanding, and was okay with changing things around was my vanilla man. And turns out vanilla was my safe haven because vanilla was the only flavor that understood me. Vanilla was the only flavor that was easy to get along with, that trusted me, that trusted my guidance. I don't know, like, this is so sad. Let me know down in the comments below, like, what do you see in your culture that you're like, yeah, that's why I married a vanilla man too? Because it's a problem. And it's been going on for a really long time. And I'm not saying that it's it's a good thing or a bad thing. Everybody has their own preferences, but we need to change our culture, the status quo. We have to get wiser and preserve our culture, our ancestry. Again, it goes back to your preferences. But the thing is, I had to say bye to everything I knew because it was too toxic. Recap the 3 reasons why I needed to marry outside of my own culture. Reason number 1, the lack of respect within the family. A lot of the times, these cultures, including my culture, doesn't respect the union and the marriage from the new weds. They think, oh, you're married, you have to get married to the family too. That's not how it works. You leave your house for a reason. You go move in with your spouse for a reason. Your nuclear family is not your mother, father, grandfather. No, that's your extended family. And they're outside of the wall. For the marriage to work, they have to stay outside of the home. But we're not there yet within my culture. Secondly, the unappreciated behavior from my culture's men. They expect their women to treat them and serve them in a specific way, leaving us to feel unappreciated and honestly, like taking advantage of. I didn't want to deal with that. I was like, oh no, my man needs to see me as his queen, as his princess, as his gem. And I wasn't getting that from my culture's, from my culture, from the, from Latino men. I wasn't receiving that. I was like, oh no, you expect me to do that? I'm gonna suffer. No, thank you. No, thank you. The third toxic trait is that a lot of these men do not know how to view women as equal. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because of how our culture is set up. A lot of the times, their mothers tend to view men as superior than women and then raise boys to stay as sassy boys and then to not know how to respect a woman, how to respect a woman when she says no, how to respect a woman when she has boundaries. And for those 3 reasons, I decided to make the ultimate sacrifice and get married to Mr. Vanilla Man. And man, oh man, am I so thankful for that decision. I'm not saying that Vanilla Man is perfect, absolutely not, but those were just things that I didn't have to struggle with within my relationship. We struggle with other things. Oh, girl, there's other things that I struggle with when it comes to the vanilla culture. But I'd much rather be dealing with that than with dealing with the other stuff that I just mentioned. I don't think so. So, ladies, please let me know, what are your thoughts on this? Am I crazy? Or do you see it as well if you're a POC like me? Do you see it within your culture of how toxic some systems might be? It's time for us to change that. It's time for us to open up and have these conversations and realize that we are hindering ourselves. That we are hindering ourselves. And this isn't to say that white men, vanilla men are better. No, no. Latino men have a lot of other great qualities, but they were not sufficient for me to marry. Like, the bad weighed more than the good. The bad weighed more than the good for me, in my opinion, and for what I saw. My strength is not the same level of your strength, right? But let me know. Have you been seeing these toxic traits within your own culture? And what needs to happen for us to have a dramatic impact within our culture to see change happen? Because it's time to change, it's time to correct, it's time to discipline, it's time to edify our culture. And with that being said, ladies, be wise.